say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hello, thank you for joining us for our annual Saluting Independence celebration, honoring our veteran heroes who sacrificed and served for us and as well as our country. I'm Deborah Doherty, the Executive Director of the Northeast Region of Canine Companions for Independence, and we're here today at the Miller Family Campus in Medford, New York. I'm honored to welcome you, our veterans, and all of those who have been able to join us today in celebration of the Outstanding Service Award, which is named for Colonel E. David Woycik and Lance Corporal Matias Ferreira, who will be joining us here today. I wish to thank our national partner, Wounded Warrior Project, Patriot sponsor, the Whitmore Group, the committee, the Eagle sponsor, PenFed Credit Union, PenFed Foundation, Darby Dental, and Change of Career Dog, Laszlo, and Dana E. Flood. Canine Companions for Independence is a national nonprofit that breeds, trains, and places assistance dogs with adults, children, veterans, and professionals in the court system and rehabilitative environments. We invest a minimum of $50,000 for each dog that we match, and we rely upon the generosity of private and public funding and donations in order to be able to continue our mission. We do not charge the recipients for the dogs, which is why donations are so critical. Today's event is to honor and thank those who have served in our armed forces, as well as to raise awareness and funding for our Veterans Initiative. Canine Companions has always served veterans. However, recently we expanded our program to include serving veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD. PTSD service dogs are trained to mitigate the triggers of PTSD and enhance the personal space around a person while they're in public. They perform tasks with verbal commands as well as respond to hand commands, which enable a person to be discreet in public. One such task is the behind command, which enables a handler to place the dog behind them in a sit, and the dog will lean up against their legs, thereby preventing someone from encroaching upon their personal space while also knowing that they are there behind them. And now I would like to turn the program over to our hosts, Colonel E. David Woycik and Lance Corporal Matias Ferreira.
Thank you, Deborah. As we've mentioned, this is our 8th year for our annual Veterans Day event, Saluting Independence, where we honor our nation's heroes who continue to serve their local communities. I want to share with you now what's become a tradition at our annual event. It's a speech to the nation given by President Ronald Reagan in 1981. His words still resonate for us today. His words and his actions are always remembered by all veterans. The price of freedom is high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Enjoy this video, please.
If we look to the answer as to why for so many years we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth, it was because here in this land we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David, they add up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid for our freedom. Each one of those markers is a monument to the kind of hero I spoke of earlier. Their lives ended in places called Belleau Wood, the Argonne, Omaha Beach, Salerno, and halfway around the world on Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Pork Chop Hill, the Chosin Reservoir, and in 100 rice paddies and jungles of a place called Vietnam. Under one such marker lies a young man, Martin Treptow, who left his job in a small-town barber shop in 1917 to go to France with the famed Rainbow Division. There on the Western Front, he was killed trying to carry a message between battalions under heavy artillery fire. We're told that on his body was found a diary. On the flyleaf, under the heading, "My Pledge," he had written these words: "America must win this war. Therefore I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure. I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone." We must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. It is a weapon that we as Americans do have. Let that be understood by those who practice terrorism and prey upon their neighbors. As for the enemies of freedom, those who are potential adversaries, they will be reminded that peace is the highest aspiration of the American people. We will negotiate for it, sacrifice for it. We will not surrender for it now or ever. We are Americans.
Now I want to introduce to you my co-host today, United States Marine Corps Lance Corporal Matias Ferreira. In 2014, Canine Companions honored Matias for his service at this very event. And now I'm proud to have him standing beside me as we honor 8 local veterans this year with our Colonel E. David Woycik, Jr., Esquire, and Lance Corporal Matias Ferreira Outstanding Service Award. Lance Corporal Ferreira served in the United States Marine Corps as a machine gunner with the 1st Battalion, 8th Marine, 2nd Division, stationed in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. During a combat tour in Helmand Province, Afghanistan in 2010, Matias stepped on an improvised explosive device, an IED, causing him to lose both legs below the knees, amongst other injuries. Matias was awarded the Purple Heart, the Combat Action Ribbon, and the Navy Unit Citation, amongst many other military awards. Lance Corporal Ferreira is an active police officer with the Suffolk County Police Department in New York, making him the first double amputee patrolman in the United States. As a personal friend, service member, I will tell you this, that he is a hero. He deserves all of our extreme gratitude for giving of himself, mentally and physically, as a result of his tours in Afghanistan and protecting freedom for this country. He is so deserving of being an award recipient and having this award named after him. I am proud to be a co-host of this award with him, and I will tell you this, that if you ever need a friend or a hero, Matias is there by your side every single day, 24/7. All gave some, and some gave all, and Matias gave it his all to our country.
Thank you, Colonel Woycik. It's an honor to be here today, representing the millions of men and women who have served our country in the United States military, including the 8 that we're going to be honoring on this Veterans Day. And when you hear their stories and meet them virtually this morning, I know you agree that they represent the best and the brightest from the greatest generation to our conflict, Operation Enduring Freedom.
In a few minutes, we're going to be introducing you to retired United States Army 4-star General John Nicholson, a Canine Companions for Independence volunteer puppy raiser. General Nicholson is the president of PenFed Foundation, one of our generous supporters here today. But first, we're going to meet 2 of our veterans from World War II. Corpsman First Class Milton Woody Woycik, United States Navy, retired. Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. At the age of 17, with his parents' blessing, he left high school to serve during World War II. Woody joined the armed forces as a Navy corpsman and served in the Pacific, Iwo Jima, Okinawa, the Mariana Islands, and the Marshall Islands for 3 years. Returning home, he married the love of his life, Minnie, and they had 3 daughters, Karen, Lisa, and Joyce. After taking the civil service test, Woody devoted the next 39 years to the United States Postal Service. Woody is now 94 years of age and spends his time singing, dancing, painting, and being with his 9 grandchildren and his 2 great-grandkids. Woody, congratulations on your Canine Companions Saluting Independence Service Award.
Woody, this is Colonel E. David Woycik, Jr. I just want to thank you for all you've done for this country, and you've really been an example for everyone for your outstanding service for this country in the Navy during World War II. And I want to thank you for your service, and especially for being awarded our special admiration this year during 2020 for your service for saluting independence and all the years that you've served this country. I know you received a lot of training in terms of helping soldiers and Marines and Navy men and women, but tell us about the islands you served and went to, Okinawa, Mariana, and the Marshall Islands. What was the duty there like?
It was just a matter of loading the ship and getting ready to go on further, which we did. That was in the Marshall Islands. From there, we went to the Mariana Islands, and it was we were on Saipan, Tinian, Saipan, and the last one was Guam.
Let me ask you, after your service overseas, when you returned home, what did you do for a living?
I did for a living. I worked for the post office.
How many years?
I had 39 years working for the post office.
Well, that's a tremendous amount of time that you served. How did your military career help you be a successful worker for the Postal Service?
I learned to respect my elders or people in higher positions than I was. The main thing, I learned to do the job right and respect.
Well, Woody, in your spare time, what are the things that have kept you able to continue for 94 young years that you have? What are the things you've liked to do to help others?
I joined veteran organizations. I was very strong with the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the VFW. I would be the highest one to get the most amount of money selling poppies. And I did that for a number of years. And I also volunteered at the Veterans Hospital in Brooklyn. I used to go there weekly to run bingo games, although I really never cared for bingo. I would run bingo games for the patients there. And I did that for a couple of years. And once I hit the young age of 85, I just began taking life a little easier.
You married the love of your wife, Minnie, and you had 3 daughters, Karen, Lisa, and Joyce. and
Yes.
I think you've lived a full life. And one last question: how is it that you've been able to live such a great life for 94 young years?
I enjoy my time mainly by singing, dancing, and painting, just like Tony Bennett.
Great. Well, that's tremendous, Woody. And Woody, the trophy that we gave you on behalf of Canine Companions for Independence, can you just hold that up? I know you're very proud of this award that we've given you here today.
Certainly am. Very proud of it, most proud of it.
Thank you on behalf of Canine Companions, the staff, the volunteers, and the puppies and the dogs. Thank you, and God bless for your service.
Can I
Thank
just
you,
add
Woody.
something to that? I want to
Sure.
thank the Canine Companions for serving and helping the veterans.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank you and I also would like to add, my best part of my life was serving our country, like most all veterans do.
No,
God bless.
God bless you, Woody, and thank you for your service. You're incredible.
Thank you so much.
Our second World War II veteran is Private First Class Jay Somers. Jay served in the United States Army Air Forces, the predecessor to the U.S. Air Force. Currently residing in Massachusetts, Jay served in the Philippines and Guam as an aircraft armorer servicing B-24s, B-25s, and fighter aircraft. Today, Jay is 99 years old, and he and his family have been actively supporting Canine Companions for many years. In May of 2019, a Canine Companion service dog named in Jay's honor graduated with 17-year-old Albany teen. This year, Jay and his family made a generous gift of $10,000 to support Canine Companions graduates who might be facing economic hardships during the pandemic. Unfortunately, Jay couldn't join us today, but we thank him for his generosity and his service to our country.
Now we're going to meet 3 United States Army veterans with remarkable stories who served our country in Vietnam. Our award for these 3 Vietnam veterans is named for another outstanding Marine Corps veteran who passed away late last year and is sorely missed at Canine Companions. Queens native Corporal Matt Rabel was severely wounded by a mortar round during the 1968 tent offensive. He lived the rest of his life with quadriplegia. Matt also suffered from severe post-traumatic stress disorder and actually refused to leave his home for many years. That all changed when he was introduced to Canine Companions for Independence and received the first of his 3 service dogs. With the assistance and confidence given by his canine partner, Matt finished his degree at St. John's University and had a successful career with the Social Security Administration. He liked to say Canine Companions helped restore his humanity after seeing so much death in Vietnam. Matt credited his service dog Agatha, Tenny, and Jason with allowing him to lead a successful life. It is with great honor that we present the Saluting Independence Corporal Matthew H. Rabel Service Award to our 3 Vietnam veterans in his honor. Specialist E4 Frank Romeo has made it his life's mission to bring post-traumatic stress disorder awareness and education to others. Romeo enlisted in the United States Army in 1968 and was a member of the elite 199th Light Infantry Brigade. During a covert mission in Cambodia, Romeo was separated from his unit and held off an enemy attack by himself until reinforcements arrived. For 30 years, he has traveled the country advocating for those who suffer from PTSD. In 2019, at the age of 70, Frank embarked on a 750-mile walk across New York to further raise awareness of PTSD. Walk with Frank started in Buffalo and ended in his hometown. Frank slept in shelters and lived among the homeless to help shed light on the situations that so many veterans face today. Congratulations, Frank, for your service to our country. Frank, this is Colonel Dave Woycik, and I want to say first, I want to thank you for your tremendous service and support and devotion to the American veteran as a whole. And I believe that your walk from upstate New York to downstate New York on behalf of veterans who've received post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of their service in the military is outstanding. And
Thank
I can't tell you from the bottom of my heart the respect and admiration I have for soldiers like yourself, and especially people like you who go beyond the call of duty.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to meet you, Colonel, and to be here with Canine Companions. And I appreciate the recognition on behalf of all the veterans. We're all brotherhood, sisterhood, and we're all working together for each other.
I know that you served in Vietnam and in the 199th Light Infantry Brigade, and you were doing covert missions in Cambodia. And I just want to know, on behalf of, Canine Companions, what goes through your mind, 30, 40 years past your service on your service back then, how you feel about it today?
In retrospect, looking back and thinking about some of the things that we went through, the unit itself and all veterans that served during the Vietnam era, and what we went through, and the difference between the military back then and the military now. Of course, our welcome home was nothing to compare to the welcome home that our veterans get today, and deservedly so. And I think a lot about the transgressions that we had, and moving forward, and the way we came home, and the way veterans, the services that we have for veterans today, it's outstanding. And mainly in looking back on my service and thinking about some of the things we do, and the support that we had, it's always been there. Even back in Vietnam, during the Vietnam days, the support was always there with the military, and anything we needed at the time was always available to us.
Well, Frank, you certainly deserve my salute, and everyone else in America for standing up and doing the right thing at the right time. And I can't tell you, your Walk with Frank program, I read about it in Newsday. I wanted to meet you someday, and I finally got my chance.
Thank you. It was quite an adventure. We reached out to the homeless community. We gave the homeless a voice. The findings of my walk will be the focus of a documentary, the Walk with Frank documentary, coming out in the spring of 2021. We touched a lot of veterans and got their stories, and the trauma related behind each homeless veteran was a traumatic event, and giving them the voice to be able to get their stories out, and to talk about how they became homeless. They weren't born homeless, or they became homeless, and the circumstances surrounding it, and mental health. And we connected the dots between mental health and our homeless veteran community.
I can see that you have the trophy there in front of you. On
It's
behalf of Canine Companions for Independence and the Colonel E. David Woycik Jr. and Lance Corporal Matias Ferreira, we proudly give you that memento on CCI's behalf for your efforts. And could you just read the inscription on that?
Corporal Matthew Rabel, U.S. Military Corps, retired. Service Award presented to Specialist E4 Frank Romeo, U.S. Army, retired, for outstanding and exemplary service to his country, November 2020.
I want to congratulate you, and you're so deserving of this award, and I want to meet you in person, which we will. And next year, you're invited to come back and be in person, hopefully when the COVID is over. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to meet you. Thank you, Canine Companions. For those out there, it's a worthy cause. They do a lot for our veterans and all people in need of service. Thank you again, Colonel.
Specials E4, Tony Sparacco is a Vietnam veteran, a Purple Heart recipient, and is very active in several veteran organizations here on Long Island. He joined the U.S. Army in 1968 and he served in the 1st Infantry Division, aka the Big Red One. Then he was transferred to the 9th Infantry Division. In March of 1968, Tony was wounded twice and was hospitalized for over 2 months. For his service to our country, Tony was awarded the Bronze Star, 2 Purple Hearts, 2 Air Medals, and the Army Commendation Medal with a V device for valor. Today, Tony lives in Farmingdale, New York, and is a retired captain of his community's volunteer fire department and fire police squad. Tony, congratulations, and thank you for joining us in this virtual event for Canine Companions for Independence on Veterans Day.
Specialist E4 Tony Spiracco, I just want to say this is Colonel E. David Woycik Jr., Colonel Dave, and I want to thank you for all your service for our country in Vietnam, 1st Infantry Division, also called the Big Red One, and then transferred to the 9th Infantry Division. I know you were hospitalized and received combat wounds and received numerous awards to include the Bronze Star, Purple Hearts, Air Medals, Army Commendation Medal. And I can't tell you from Canine Companions Independence and myself how much respect and admiration I have for you and your fellow veterans who served during Vietnam and during that horrible conflict that you didn't get credit for giving up your life, and the experiences you went through that still go on up until today. So I want to thank you, and tell us about your experiences in Vietnam and how that's affected you and helped or hurt you over the years.
My experiences in Vietnam. Well, I was drafted in February of '68. I went to Vietnam in July of '68, which was 6 or 7 months after the Tet Offensive began. And I served during a period of time, 1968, 1969, where half the KIAs in Vietnam took place. Over 52,000 were killed in Vietnam throughout the war. But 50% of those, about 26,000, were killed in 1968-69. So it was horrific, to say the least. I served in 2 different types of locations and did different kinds of operations. First with the 1st Infantry Division, I was further north, a bit north of Saigon in Lai Khe, 1st Division headquarters, where we did a lot of jungle work and up against the NVA, Michelin rubber plantation, jungles. 90% of the times we were the ones who were ambushed and fired on first, and we had to retaliate and defend our positions wherever we were. We also did some work on APCs with the 1st Infantry Division, guarding the highways in the Lai Khe area. After 7 weeks of being with the 1st Infantry Division, I was transferred to the 9th Infantry Division to a whole new terrain. We moved down to the Mekong Delta, which was almost 100% rice paddies. It's where 90% of the population of South Vietnam lived, all the rice farmers, and the rules of engagement changed drastically for us. We were not able to fire at sound or movement. We had to identify who and what we were going to shoot at if we were going to. We had to identify that one had a weapon or hand grenades and was coming towards us. The operations down there were a bit different. We were in a lot of rice paddies, plain of reeds. The biggest battle I was in was in fact in the plain of reeds. We lost many men throughout the months there. You mentioned the fact that I was wounded. Yes, I was combat wounded twice in Vietnam. February 14th, 1969, I was on CQ. We had intelligence reports that we were going to be mortared at 10 p.m. that night. I was ordered by my company commander to go around the company area and get lights out at 10 minutes to 10. At 10 to 10, I got up. I put my hand on the screen door to exit the orderly room, and an incoming round came in. I was hit with shrapnel from it. Fortunately, I wasn't wounded seriously, but I did take a number of shrapnel wounds and lost a sizable amount of blood. I was treated and released. Because we were under attack, we couldn't put lights on, so the medics at battalion headquarters had me come back the next day where they probed for shrapnel. They weren't able to find it, so I was treated and released. 25 days later, I wasn't as lucky. I was given a very illegal and unlawful order to get up on a dike and walk toward my new company commander, who was with us for the first time. And I didn't really want to do it because I knew better. I knew the golden rule in Vietnam was never walk on a dike. All the months I was there, we never walked on dikes. I was then threatened with an Article 15 if I didn't get up on the dike. So I got up on it and I walked towards him. When I got about 15 paces from him, I stepped on a booby trap, a Chi-Com grenade that was buried beneath the surface of the dike. So I went down. He was wounded, not as seriously as I was. I lost a lot of blood. I was hospitalized in Vietnam. Upon being viewed by all the doctors who surrounded me because I had wounds to my leg, my throat, and other parts of my body, had the shell of the grenade lodged in my leg. In view of the fact that I lost so much blood, the doctors called for a priest, and I was administered last rites that day. So that's basically it. I was seriously wounded. I spent a month in the hospital in Vietnam. I was in medevac to Okinawa, where I spent another month in the hospital, being treated, learning how to walk again, convalesced there. And by the time I got out of there on or about May 8th, 1969, I would have had 10 months in country in Vietnam. I had a light duty profile, so I was sent back to the States to finish my 2-year term in the U.S. Army, which I did at Fort Dix, New Jersey, as an operations sergeant. Colonel, I want to say one thing, though. You asked me the question, and I answered it, but I would like to say this before we go any further. First of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank John Bensinger, the entire staff at Canine Companions. I'm aware of what you do. I belong to numerous veterans organizations, and at least 3 of the organizations I belong to contribute to Canine Companions and some of the other guide dog services. I know that you render services for free. I know that the dogs are free to veterans, and I understand from John that very recently, or if you're not doing it already, you're soon going to be providing my fellow Vietnam veterans with companion dogs. I think it's wonderful. So I want to thank you for all that you do with the guide dogs, for providing them. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And, you know, from time to time with all the veterans events that I attend, we see vets with service dogs, and I'll tell you, they're terrific, you know. So I also at this time want to thank Canine Companions for bestowing this honor, privilege, and this wonderful award to me. I certainly, honestly appreciate it very much. Thank you. Okay.
Tony, I can't tell you what a heartfelt story that you have. And, you know, I was in Desert Storm and never saw the action that you did. And we were treated like heroes when we came back. But I'll tell you this, that many Vietnam vets walked with us in the parades in the city. And I know that, you know, you and organizations that you support, you know, really felt glad that we've taken steps up to help veterans over the years, to include the VA hospitals, as well as service dogs, guide dogs, Canine Companions, Vet Dogs of America, Paws of War, and these organizations that help veterans throughout the years. And I just want to thank you, because your experience in history is, they call World War II the greatest generation. I think your generation in Vietnam was the forgotten generation because of what you did. And you said over 50,000 young Americans died because of that conflict, you know, way over there, 3,000 miles away. So from the bottom of my heart, I salute you. I salute what you do. And Tony, if we could last, can you just read what it says on the award there to you?
From Canine Companions, Corporal Matthew Rabel, USMC, retired, Service Award, presented to Specialist E4 Anthony Sparaco, USA, retired, for outstanding and exemplary service to his country, November 2020.
Yes, and Tony, Matt Rabel was a distinguished Army soldier who suffered wounded in Vietnam and significant effects of post-traumatic stress disorder, and was one of the first recipients of one of our dogs. So well deserving of his award, and God bless you for all you.
It's a real honor, Colonel. Thank you. And thank you to the whole entire staff at Canine Companions for what you do. I want you to know the veteran community appreciates it tremendously.
Tony, I gotta say this. When you first came on, but you look like Joe Margiotto when you came on the screen. I'm sure you've been told that, right?
Yeah, I've been told I look like a lot of people.
Yeah. What did you do for a living?
I was the supervisor of electric billing and customer service for the Incorporated Village of Freeport Municipal Electric Utility, Nassau County.
Listen, I want to thank you, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person because next year we want to do it live.
Yes,
Okay?
I'm looking forward to meeting you and the entire staff and John as well. And the third of our Vietnam veterans is Sergeant E5 Jay Kavanaugh of Huntington, New York. Jay says he feels lucky to return home after serving in Vietnam from 1969 to 1970. Jay served as a rifleman with the 1st Infantry Division, also known as the Big Red One, and then the 23rd Infantry Division, the Americal Division, choppering into hot spots on a regular basis. For over a year, he and 16 members of his platoon patrolled through the mountains by day and slept on the ground in the jungles at night. Jay received 2 Bronze Stars and a Combat Infantry Badge among numerous other awards for his heroic service. After returning home, Jay enrolled in graduate school and taught school for 35 years in the Shoreham-Wading River School District. Joining us now is Sergeant Jay Kavanaugh.
Jay, this is Colonel E. David Woycik Jr. on behalf of Canine Companions for Independence, and I want to thank you for your service to our country during the Vietnam conflict and all your contributions over the years. Jay, could you tell us, something about your background concerning your service in Vietnam?
Well, I was drafted in '68, and I ended up down at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, for basic and AIT. And then I took on a special training school, and we went to Fort Benning for the next 16, 18, 24 weeks. And then from there, I went to Fort Polk as a drill sergeant. And then when my year was up, and I had 2 years in, I had 1 year left, and the Department of Defense said, I think we could use you over in Vietnam in the infantry. So I went over there as an E5, and I went into the Big Red One, the 1st Infantry Division. And I was with them for about 4 months, from probably November through February, I think it was. And then they got redeployed, and the colors came home, and all the guys that were in the division got redeployed to other units. And I went up to the Americal Division in the North Central Highlands and spent the rest of my year up there in the mountains, walking around the jungle.
Right. I know, Jay, you and I have talked over the years, and you've been a tremendous volunteer for Vet Dogs, Canine Companions, and other Northport VA and other organizations. And I know you don't like to talk about your service because it was something that obviously you didn't plan for, didn't wish for, but you served the country valiantly. And I know, for over a year, you on patrol in Vietnam, jungle at night, and received various commendations for your gallant service overseas, the Bronze Star and Combat Infantry Badge. What was it like when you came home after that service that you really gave of yourself beyond the call of duty?
It was unnerving. I guess I did not. I flew into Japan, and then from Japan into Fort Washington, up in Washington State. And when we came in, we were not greeted very well. And then when I came into this state, when I flew from there here to New York, I got home, I took the uniform off pretty quickly. We were not greeted, weren't looked at with much reverence or anything else. And it was a strange time in this country in the late 60s and early 70s. So it was tough coming home. And I have to tell you, it took me a while to get my act together. I was lucky I had good parents. I had already graduated from college, so they said, well, you got to get a job. So I went out looking for a job, and I got something over in Farmingdale, and I stayed with that job for about a year. And then in between, I met my wife. And then once I met her, she helped straighten me out. And then I got help straightened out by a number of different people along the way. But I don't think I got straightened out until I was about age 30. And then from there, it was okay. But it was different coming home. That's why I feel so good for these guys that serve. I feel very bad for the guys that have to go and then come home and then go back again. I don't know how they're doing that. I could never have come home and then gone back over to Vietnam and done it again. I don't know what I would have done. That would have been horrible.
Well, Jay, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I salute you almost, on a daily basis and every time I see you, because you're a humble gentleman. You don't talk about it a lot because it's really not a great time in your life because of the tremendous, battles you had to undergo over there, not only against foreign enemies, but also, just mentally staying alive. And I think
you're right.
Everybody, to come back and be able to survive when you get spit on and thrown at food and disgraced upon because of what you did for your country, and this freedom is not free, and you stepped up to the plate. And I think I just can't tell you, CCI, Canine Companions, which provides service dogs to these veterans, and I know you're a big believer in that.
We've been lucky enough to see that a couple of times, and it's just wonderful what the dogs can do for the guys. And ladies. So it's just fantastic. Yeah, great.
Jay, do you have your trophy there that we gave you?
I have it in front. I have it in front of me, Colonel David.
Can you hold it up and just read the inscription on that?
Corporal Matthew Rabel, United States Marine Corps, retired. Service Award presented to Sergeant E5 J. Kavanagh, USA, retired, for outstanding and exemplary service to the country, November 2020, which I was very, very surprised at getting this. I want to thank you all. It now sits in my office and at a high honor spot, the highest. So I don't know what, I wasn't expecting anything like this, guys. So, wow. Thank you.
Okay, my praise and honor goes out to you as you received 2 Bronze Stars in the Combat Infantry Badge, amongst other awards, and for your heroic service. And I know that, nothing can take the place of your experience. And I just want to say that next year we want you to come back, and hopefully we're over this COVID, and we want you to join us and see the complex in Medford and see all the wonderful things that Canine Companions do.
I would love to do that, Colonel Dave. I really would.
I want to thank you again, and God bless, and feel better. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
God bless.
Our awards for our 2 Operation Enduring Freedom veterans are named for Canine Companions graduate and U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Sam Sela. Sergeant Sam Sela enlisted in the Army following the terror attacks of 9/11. While on a mission in Baghdad on July 4th, 2005, and while America was celebrating its independence, Sergeant Sam lost part of his own. Severely injured by an IED, Sergeant Sam lost his left hand and underwent dozens of surgeries. While he was in rehabilitation, Sergeant Sam Sela was introduced to Canine Companions for Independence, and in 2010 he was matched with his much-loved service dog Jillian. Since that time, Sergeant Sela has dedicated himself to helping injured veterans resume an active lifestyle. It's with great honor we present the Canine Companions Saluting Independence Staff Sergeant Sam Sela Service Award to our next 2 Operation Enduring Freedom veterans.
Sergeant Matt Hiller went to Parris Island in 2005. After infantry school, he served in multiple deployments, including Operation Immediate Response, and annual bilateral security exercises conducted between U.S., NATO, and coalition partners. Sergeant Hiller also served in Operation Iraqi Freedom, where he served throughout the Al-Anbar province, including operations in Ramadi and Fallujah. During operations, he hit a 30-pound IED that caused severe damage in both shoulders. In 2011, Sergeant Hiller was nominated as a Military Man of the Year by Crossroads Convention. It is my great pleasure and honor to introduce you to our next veteran, who I pride to call my friend, Marine Corps Sergeant Matt Hiller. Matt, congratulations and thanks for being with us today and supporting a great organization like Canine Companions for Independence.
Sergeant Matt Hiller, this is Colonel Dave Woycik. I want to say thank you for your service in the United States Marine Corps, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and CCI for all you've done for our country and for our veterans over the many years you've served since 2005.
Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it. The honor is it's mine to be blessed to be in this situation, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I know that you served with Operation Immediate Response with NATO and coalition partners, and you were in Operation Iraqi Freedom in Al Anbar Province, in Ramadi and Fallujah, which were one of the hot spots during the war against terrorism. And I know you suffered some serious injuries. Can you tell us what it was like to serve over there and what were you going through on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak to veterans and this opportunity to talk to you, Colonel. Thank you very much. Iraq was an amazing experience to me. I had wonderful experiences and had some unfortunate experiences, but every veteran knows, every Marine knows this comes with the position that you took. Most of our operations were in the Al Anbar province on the southern and northern borders of Fallujah. We were closing FOBs in that region, and we also had to patrol all down the Al Anbar province south, and then headquarters of the Marine Corps. There was a plan to move into the Battle of Ramadi in 2008. So I was widespread. I was all over Iraq. I was in the Air Force Base Al Assad. I got to convoy through that. I got to convoy down through Detroit. Other veterans will know, or Michigan, those streets in the Iraqi map. And it was a great experience. Unfortunately, the convoy was hit with a 30-pound IED. The front right vehicle took a blast and flipped over the trucks. 2 trucks got hit. It was a small daisy chain. The 30-pounder didn't do too much damage, just the blast, and the MRAPs were mainly top heavy, so they tipped pretty easy. One of the flaws in the engineering. And then when that happened, my shoulders took some severe damage, and thankfully no one was fatally injured. But Iraq was long, it was hot, there was amazing obstacles you have to overcome every day, not just the heat, from 140 degrees to 60 degrees at night. Iraq was one of the most brutal environments I've ever been in, just because it's so polar opposite. Your body can just never adjust, and trying to serve and fight at the same time along drinking warm water was quite an adjustment.
Matt, how did it feel to come home and touch land again in the United States?
Oh, that was the best feeling. I remember we were taking off in the C-17, and I remember literally taking my foot off the runway at Al Assad Air Force Base. It was just really amazing experience to come home. No major injuries. I know a lot of men lost a lot of limbs and a lot of PTSD, and a lot of men have suffered severely. Women too, and I just think that I'm so blessed that I got to be a part of escaping Iraq and serving my nation. And that it was I live in New York, and it's a very patriotic city, the most patriotic city in the world. And I came home to loving arms, and it was such a great experience for me. Absolutely.
Yeah, Matt, I know you've done a lot of work with veterans over the years, and Army, Navy, and I just want to thank you for all you've done. You don't forget where you came from. Don't forget where you served. And do you have your trophy there in front of you or near you?
Yes, sir, I do. I just want to say thank you to the Canine Companion organization for this. This is quite an honor for me to be here on this stage with you and the rest of the teams that are videoing this and doing this in this horrific time of COVID. And I just want to say thank you again for addressing the veterans and for what you do for the community and veterans all over the world. And I really love the way everything that your organization is doing. I'm just very grateful and I'm very appreciative of this. It's an amazing trophy, and I will take good care of it, sir.
As many of you know, I've been an active supporter of Canine Companions since 2010. And we've been putting on a program each and every year saluting independence for veterans during that time, and have honored veterans from World War II up until the present day. And I want to thank the committee who's worked so hard on this program over the years to salute our veterans. They have done an outstanding job of putting this program together and continuing to fight and provide support both in time and financially for our veterans who so deeply need our support. I'd also like to recognize Bob Madden on the Canine Companions Committee for his outstanding support of our mission during the last 10 years, and a graduate of the United States Naval Academy. I would also remind everyone here that Canine Companions is a non-profit organization, and we depend on the donations of each and every one of you and the community and the United States as a whole. We would recommend that you look at the website and please make a donation in any amount, because it's deserving of all these veterans who need your support for the raising of the dogs for the rest of their lives. So I thank you for your kind contribution and donation to such a worthwhile program. I also want to thank Canine Companions staff, Debbie Doherty from the Northeast region, Debbie McKenzie, as well as John Bensinger, who I can't tell you how many hours they have put in to make this program a success. And also our videographer, Sebastian, who has done a tremendous job here. I salute all of you for your tremendous diligence and devotion to this great program. We have raised during the last 10 years over $500,000 for this program. It takes approximately $50,000 to raise a dog so that dog, male or female, may be matched up with a veteran. And I can't tell you how happy those veterans are when they get a dog to call their buddy. They're a team, and they need one another. Canine Companions is the nation's first and largest service dog organization, providing highly trained service dogs to children, adults, and veterans with disabilities. And we've provided over 350 service dogs supporting veterans since the organization was founded in 1975. Not all the dogs in the Canine Companions program wind up graduating and being matched with a veteran or another person with a disability. Some are released from the program for any variety of reasons, and now we're going to introduce to you one of them. We are so pleased to recognize and say thank you to the amazing therapy dog, Laszlo III. 9-year-old Laszlo volunteers every week at the Northport VA Medical Center here on Long Island. And I can tell you, the looks on the faces of all the veterans at the VA when they see Laszlo is indescribable. As we mentioned, Laszlo started a life on a journey to become a Canine Companion service dog. But when he was released from our program, he was adopted by Donna E. Flood, who helped Laszlo become registered as a therapy dog. They began volunteering weekly at the VA Medical Center in Northport, where Laszlo's calm demeanor helped him instantly bond with veterans who needed an extra boost that only a canine partner can give. Among the many awards that they have received, Laszlo and Donna E. were recently honored as the International Therapy Team of the Year by the Plaintree Therapeutic Animal Awards. This year, Laszlo will step away from active duty and will begin a well-deserved retirement. We're glad to be joined now by Laszlo and his handler, Donna E. Flood. Donnie, you've been very instrumental in helping Canine Companions and helping your dog, Laszlo, become registered as a therapy dog. I know you volunteered weekly at the VA Medical Center in Northport, where many veterans on Long Island go for their tremendous medical services. And I know he was there to help the veterans over there get, reduce the stress. That's what I call it, reduce the stress and cope with life on an everyday basis. I know you were recently honored with a International Therapy Team of the Year award by the Plaintree Therapeutic Animal Awards. And I just want to thank you on behalf of Canine Companions and all veterans for the service that you do. The dog Laszlo, what he does. And I just want to say, without people like you, our program would never be successful. So I salute you.
Thank you very much. Really, it's an honor to be here with the people you're recognizing today. I'll tell you a story. When we first started volunteering there, I ran into two very young men, and they came up to me and they said, "Ma'am, can we pet your dog?" And I went, "Yes, of course you can." And then they thanked me and they said, "Thank you for what you're doing for our brothers and sisters." Quite honestly, it made me cry. And I said, "I should be thanking you for what you're doing, not you thanking me. I'm only bringing a dog." But I'll tell you, they love him there. I volunteer primarily on the psych units, and it's amazing. They talk to him. They actually talk to him. One day, one young man asked if he could walk him, and I went, "Yes, of course." So he took his leash and he's walking him, and he's asking Laszlo questions. "What kind of dog are you? How old are you?" And I'm answering. Nurses came running and they went, "Johnny, he's talking to you." I said, "Well, technically he's talking to the dog, not me." And they went, "No, he hasn't spoken since he got here. I don't know these things. It's not my business. My business is to bring a dog in. And if it makes them happy and if it does anything to help their day, then that's what I can do." Honestly, I taught him to salute when we first started volunteering there. I thought it would be respectful. Well, patients come back to him that haven't seen him for a while and say, "Do you think he remembers me? Do you think he'll salute me?" And I went, "Okay, give it a try." And you know what? He doesn't disappoint. And when I run into the old World War II veterans in the lobby, and Laszlo salutes them, oh, they stand up so straight from their walkers and they're so proud to salute him back. I just want to thank you for this honor. People ask what makes him such a good therapy dog. Number one, CCI, soulful eyes, and extremely soft fur. And that's what he does. He just makes people smile, and it's all a good thing. Thank you. Thank you for this honor. Thank you for my statue. Thank you, CCI, for making him and starting him on the path to being just a wonderful, wonderful dog.
Don, I can't tell you what heartfelt speech and story that you just gave, and we need more people like you. And if I could, I'd clone you and the dog.
That's very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you. He means a lot. He means a lot to a lot of people. A lot of people.
Can you read the from the award that we gave you? Can you read the inscription on there, please?
I sure can. Saluting Independence Service Award, presented to Therapy Dog Team, Donna E. Flood and Laszlo III, for outstanding and exemplary service, November 2020. Thank you.
The next two veterans that you'll hear from have a special connection. U.S. Army Captain Victor Prado served as an engineer officer in the 82nd Airborne Division during the Global War on Terror. A native of Somers, New York, Victor played football at Princeton University, and he was commissioned as a second lieutenant during his first deployment to Afghanistan in 2017. He was selected to lead a route clearance platoon to seek out removed IEDs. During a patrol, Victor's vehicle was targeted by a suicide bomber, and he suffered a severe spinal cord injury. After numerous surgeries, Victor medically retired from the Army, moved home to New York, and accepted a job at finance at Morgan Stanley. In the fall of 2019, Victor was matched with Canine Companions service dog Barboza, which leads us to an amazing coincidence from the battlefield to Canine Companions. While serving in Afghanistan, Captain Prado was under the command of 4-star General John Nicholson, whom we'll be hearing from shortly. But thanks to Canine Companions, these two soldiers had an unexpected reunion. While Victor was here training after being matched with his service dog Barboza, General Nicholson also arrived here at the Northeast Region headquarters to begin raising a Canine Companion puppy named West Point. Victor, congratulations.
I want to start off saying I want to thank you for your service. It's amazing what you've done, and I salute you for everything you've done for our country.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Colonel Dave Woycik. I'm here with Canine Companions for Independence, and I want to thank you and salute you for your tremendous and heroic service for our country. And we're here to thank you for all you've done.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, Vic, I understand that, reading a lot about you, you're a captain, you were a captain in the United States Army, engineer, went to Afghanistan for enduring freedom, and were on a patrol when, a horrendous and terrible thing happened to you. Can you tell us what happened to you on that day?
My platoon was conducting route clearance operations. My truck was targeted by a suicide bomber, and I had some pretty serious injuries and was medevaced to Germany and then home because of the seriousness of the injuries.
How long were you in the hospital concerning your injuries that you sustained?
I was kind of in Walter Reed for, I think it was about a month and a half before I went to the Tampa VA hospital. And there I stayed. I did rehab there for another, I think it was a total of 209 days in a hospital.
How has CCI been able to help your life a little better?
He's not only is he a fantastic companion and
that interaction, how does it go with you and the Barboza?
He's really cute. He's when we first got him, he was like not shy, because I don't think dogs are shy, but he was like really reserved, and he didn't show a whole lot of personality. And as he kind of got used to his surroundings, he's really funny. He acts indignant sometimes, and he like snorts at you if you try to like roll him on his back so you can rub his belly, and it's very cute.
Sort of like you. If I rub your belly, you'd start snorting, right?
Yeah, that's exactly.
I know you served with General Nicholson, who's one of our honorees as well overseas, correct?
Yes.
And we are delighted to have many veterans from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Enduring Freedom. And I know you served under General Nicholson, and I just, can't tell you how happy and proud I am to be giving you the award. I hope you can use that as a good memento of your service. It's a small token of our appreciation. And again, whatever CCI can do for you, we're beside you and behind you all the way. Airborne.
Airborne.
Thank you. And now it's time to meet the recipient of this year's Saluting Independence, Colonel E. David Woycik, Jr., Esquire, and Lance Corporal Matias Ferreira Outstanding Service Award. United States Army 4-star General John W. Nicholson, Jr. has the distinction of being the longest-serving commander of U.S. forces in Afghanistan and NATO's Resolute Support Mission. He's led tens of thousands of brave men and women and spent 6 years in combat during his 36 years of distinguished service in the United States military. He is a true American hero.
Since 2019, General Nicholson has led the PenFed Foundation, a national nonprofit that provides military service members, veterans, and their families with the skills and resources to improve their financial well-being.
PenFed is also one of our Canine Companions national corporate partners. General Nicholson and his wife Noreen are currently raising Canine Companion puppy West Point. Joining us now to present the award to General Nicholson on behalf of Canine Companions is PenFed Credit Union President and CEO James Skenk.
Thank you to Colonel Dave Woycik, a great supporter of Canine Companions for Independence's Veterans Initiative for the last decade. I'm proud to be here today representing the employees of PenFed Credit Union, and I'm especially happy to presenting the Colonel E. David Woycik Esquire and Lance Corporal Matias Ferreira Outstanding Service Award to General Nicholson on behalf of Canine Companions. PenFed and Canine Companions have a great history together, going back to 2018 when we announced our partnership to assist PenFed employees volunteer to raise service dogs. To date, we've raised 5 puppies, and we're so proud to tell you that our first service dog graduated last month. His name is Clint. He was raised by Emma Phillips and her family. Clint was perfectly matched with his new partner Brenda, who lives in Maine, and we couldn't be prouder. And one of the reasons we're here today is to meet West Point, who has grown up and doesn't look like a puppy these days, but he's still learning the ropes, and we're expecting him to graduate and be matched with a veteran or another person with a disability someday soon. In addition to welcoming West Point to our workplace, PenFed has donated nearly $150,000 to Canine Companions and is covering all the costs associated with raising these 5 pups. West Point is being raised by the president of our PenFed Foundation, and I'm also proud to call my friend, U.S. Army 4-star General John Nicholson. General Nicholson was the longest-serving commander of U.S. forces in Afghanistan and is the first 4-star military general to raise a service dog with the mission of going on to help a wounded warrior or other person with a disability. West Point is named after General Nicholson's alma mater, the United States Military Academy at West Point, where he served as the first captain, which is the highest position. The Canine Companions for Independence Saluting Independence Award is given each year to a deserving veteran who continues to serve their local communities once their mission in the military is completed. We can't think of a more deserving recipient than General John Nicholson, and it gives me great pleasure that on behalf of Canine Companions for Independence to honor you this year with this award.
Thank you, James, and thank you, Canine Companion for Independence, for this tremendous honor. It's humbling because, like many veterans, I feel like I've just been doing my job, which has been to serve our country and to help fellow veterans. Our fellow veterans from this most recent war are a special group of people, and I'd like to take a moment to talk about them. No other time in our history have we attempted to fight a war with an all-volunteer force. And those young men and women who stepped up after 9/11 represent less than 2% of the population of our country. And for this very selfless and honorable decision, they deserve a special debt of gratitude and respect from the American people, and certainly from their fellow comrades in arms. So it's a tremendous honor and very humbling to accept this award on their behalf. Thank you.
General Nicholson, I want to thank you and the PenFed Foundation for your tremendous support for this program. I cannot tell you how proud the organization, the committee, are for your support and for your corporation and what they've done to make Canine Companions the best service organization in America. Thank you very much. As we prepare to close our Canine Companions Veterans Day Saluting Independence Outstanding Service Award ceremony, we'd like to remind everyone why this day is so meaningful for veterans and our nation whom they so selflessly served.
Veterans Day is an important holiday. It is a day set aside for Americans to honor and pay respects to our brave and patriotic veterans, men and women who have made extraordinary sacrifices for our safety and freedom. Unfortunately, some choose to discount the day's true meaning, viewing it as just a day off from work or an opportunity for sales.
On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, the great First World War I came to an end. It was supposed to be the war to end all wars. At that moment, an armistice went into effect, and both sides laid down their arms.
President Woodrow Wilson declared the first Armistice Day to honor those who had died during the war. In 1938, Congress made the day an official holiday. And in 1953, after World War II and the Korean War, a movement was started for all veterans on Armistice Day to be remembered, not just those who served in World War I. After being signed into law by President Dwight Eisenhower, the holiday has been called Veterans Day ever since.
Whether you agree or disagree with any of America's policies in any of the wars whose veterans we've honored here today, one thing we all share alike is that all veterans have sacrificed to protect our freedoms we sometimes take for granted. The cost of freedom is priceless, and all veterans deserve our utmost respect and admiration. They have served our country so that we and our children may live in peace and in harmony. All gave some, and some gave all. Freedom is not free, and America is certainly the home of the brave, as evidenced by our honorees here today. Bless all these veterans with us today, and a special tribute to those veterans who have given the ultimate sacrifice to our country. Thank you for joining us and for supporting such a worthy organization as Canine Companions for Independence, who provides all their services at no charge for our wounded veterans who need the support of a highly trained service dog.
The 11th day, 11th hour, and 11th minute is upon us. We'll leave you in silence to remember those who are fallen.
Thank you, and we hope to see you next year in person for our Canine Companions Saluting Independence event.